The FIFA scandal rumbles on. Jack Warner, who was at the centre of bribery accusations, has resigned as vice president of the sports world governing body. He had been accused of helping buy votes for a colleague running to be the new FIFA boss. Warner had been suspended pending the outcome of the inquiry. But now FIFA says that, due to Mr Warner's resignation, ethics committee procedures against him were now closed and that the presumption of innocence was maintained. Mr Warner had also been accused by the Football Association of asking for favours during the 2018 World Cup bid process. Well, the former executive director of the Football Association, David Davis, joins us now from central London, so we'll never know.
Well, it appears that way tonight. In many ways, what's happened today, in my view, is typical of what's wrong with FIFA. You referred there to the FIFA statement that talked about the presumption of innocence of Mr Warner. No mention at all about the perception, which is really at the heart of all this, the perception of FIFA, the perception of Mr Warner himself. And if I was Mr Warner, if most people were Mr Warner, surely they would want not to leave in this way, but to prove their innocence.
This works out rather well for Sepp Blatter, though, doesn't it, the president?
Well, I don't quite see it like that, because I don't believe that this is the end of this matter by any stretch of the imagination. Of course, there are still allegations against Mr Bin Hammam, the president of the Asian Confederation, that presumably will have to be heard at some stage. And, you know, there are other allegations, there are layers of allegations over recent months that will not go away.
Jack Warner seemed to wield phenomenal power within this bizarre organisation. Where does all that power go now? Where do those votes go?
Well, that's a very good question. He had considerable influence, there's no doubt about that. And indeed, it is entirely correct that England, both when we were bidding for 2006 and more recently for 2018, did court the vote of Mr Warner and those around him. In 2006 successfully, more recently not successfully.
Do you think the rest of the world cares as much as people seem to in Britain? I mean, they seem to look on the Football Association's protests with puzzlement.
Christian, the reality is that there are 208 members of FIFA, more members than there are of the United Nations. And more of those countries are of the size and indeed of the thinking of some of the smaller nations rather than of England or Germany or Brazil or Australia or of the US. And you're entirely correct. As the coronation of Mr Blatter showed just a few weeks ago, at the moment they maintain their loyalty to him.
What should the FA do?
The FA should now, yes, build bridges, but build bridges with the major European nations for a start, with Michel Platini, who is the boss of European football, who may well ultimately, and I happen to think it'll be sooner rather than later, will become the president of FIFA in succession to Mr Blatter.
David Davis, many thanks for joining us.